Hello, Potomac Crossing Ward. This is Come Follow Me 2021 Lesson 15 for April 5th through April 11th, covering Doctrine and Covenants, section 30 through 36. These 7 sections are tailored to prominent individuals among the early ecclesia, with the exception of section 35, which is given to Rigdon, a convert during this time. They were given from September through December 1830. The church has been established for several months, and the Lord is providing individual guidance among the relatively small group, between 60 and 70 people total. That is not winning over local converts locally and is facing adversity from the local population. It is clear the Lord's focus is long-term, while the early church members are caught up in present pressing matters. The Lord largely encourages them to preach the gospel so they can build up the ecclesia in preparation for the second coming. But it's very clear that the Lord is looking long term, where they are like, what do we do right now? Okay, Doctrine and Covenants, section 30. The text of this section was originally published as 3 separate texts based upon the targeted individual. The text is presented in the sections as they were originally published in the 1833 Book of Commandments. The targets of these revelations are the 3 Whitmer brothers, who were all sons of Peter Whitmer Sr. Doctrine and Covenants, section 31. This revelation is specifically aimed at Thomas B. Marsh. Thomas was an early convert and was zealous in accomplishing many good works in the church. See Doctrine and Covenants 112 for additional specific instructions to Marsh. Based upon the general subject, the section can be arranged in a fairly simple complementary repetition of A, B, A, B. Verse 1 and 2, don't worry about your family. Section B is verses 3 through 5, the commission given to Thomas Marsh. The next A is verse 6, don't worry about your family. And then the repeating B, verses 7 through 13, is the Lord exhorting Thomas to do what he's been called to do. So this is the Lord calling him, saying, look, you're pressing concerns over your family. I will take care of them. Don't worry about them. Go ahead and do what you've been told to do. Section 32. This is a revelation to Parley P. Pratt, where he's called to serve as a missionary to the Lamanite remnants, along with some of the brethren called in previous revelations, which we see in section 28 and 30. While the mission being referenced was to initiate work among the Lamanites, the majority of the success they had was among the white settlers and not the Native Americans. This is where they ran into people in and around Ohio, and one converts over in what became Kirtland. Then the New York group ended up settling there. So this is setting the ground for the next few months. What we'll see here in the next few months. So Doctrine and Covenants 33. This revelation is given to Ezra Thayer and Northrop Sweet. Ezra stayed with the church until after Smith's martyrdom, and Northrop Sweet left shortly afterwards after relocating to Kirtland, Ohio, having joined the first splinter group off of the church. The revelation was given in October, which would have been the end of the harvest season in New York. The repeated use of the harvest imagery in the text may have been deliberately intended to coincide with this and therefore reinforce their call. Given the end of the literal harvest, they would have been free to pursue their church labors or the spiritual harvest. Section 34. The text revolves around 2 parenthetical statements, verses 2 through 4, and then verses 7 through 9 made in the text. Both of the parentheses comment on aspects of the Savior's mission, and both serve to establish Orson Pratt's relationship with him. Verses 1 through 4 comment on the spiritual fatherhood of the Lord. Verses 5 through 10 comment on the relative roles of the Lord and his sons. His sons are to warn the wicked of his second coming. Verses 11 through 12 then form the conclusion. Both Parley and Orson Pratt were some of the more zealous converts in the early church whose efforts were noteworthy and fruitful. Aside from his missionary labors, which are considerable, Orson's doctrinal legacy is that of being a prominent defender and chronicler of the first vision. Many of the more obscure details of the first vision known today are a result of Orson's initial tenacity in questioning Joseph concerning the matter and subsequently publishing them. And when Joseph ended up writing up his version of the first vision, he used Orson's notes and published comments and as a kind of launching point for putting together his version. Doctrine and Covenants, section 35. This section addresses Sidney Rigdon, a recent convert to the church. Taken in light of the history of Rigdon's search for the ancient Christian church, it is plain the Lord is commenting very specifically on those things Rigdon has been looking for. Rigdon having been a Baptist minister, he was well acquainted with his Bible, and he was looking to find this ancient church as was documented in the New Testament. So this is the Lord responding to that. And then section 36, this is a revelation addressing Edward Partridge, and was given at the same time as section 35.